Welcome back to FYI Weekly. The public outreach for the 2020 census began last fall, well in advance of the pandemic. This campaign is winding down, and there's a lot at stake if each person in Greensboro is not counted. Joining me now to tell us what we need to know about the census is Sue Schwartz. She is the director of the city's planning department. Hello, Sue. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carla.
Always good to see you. You and your team have been working diligently since last fall to get our community on board with the 2020 census. What is the status of our count?
Right now, literally as of today, we are at 63% of the count of total households what we anticipate people being counted. That's off. In 2010, our count was 67%, almost 68%. We were shooting to be even better than that. A year ago when we were establishing, we were hoping to get 70 or more. So we have a little work to do because the deadline's coming up.
Yes, and I was going to ask you about the deadline. It was initially in October, and it's been moved up quite substantially. How will that impact your goal in terms of we're below where we were 10 years ago, and one would think that more people would have had time to focus on the census because they've been perhaps spending more time at home?
Well, one would hope that, but what it does, the new deadline is now September 30th, so 6 weeks basically we have to try and beat the goal that we had set. So there's lots of things going on. For the Census Bureau, there are enumerators. These are people that are literally going door to door to addresses that have not turned in either by mail or online a census form. So they will try to contact them face to face, and of course taking proper precautions. But people can still do this online. It is still available, and we have been doing a lot of promotions. We've been doing promotions especially with apartment communities and in communities around downtown. That census tract seems to be rather low and then some other census tracts in the east and southwest of Greensboro.
Okay, so I did my census online, so I can vouch for the ease factor. It was very quick and painless. And why is it so critical? You said we had nearly 70% response rate in 2010. Why do we need every person counted?
Well, there's three ways we use the census. Number one, it's a method to allocate federal funding. And what that equates to for each person in Greensboro, roughly $1,600 per person per year. So that funds things like roads, housing programs, SNAP, other federal funding programs that benefit the people of Greensboro. So that's one. And so if we're undercounted, that's much less that we'll have to deal with those issues. Two, it's representation. Congressional seats are allotted each year by the census, or each 10 years, sorry. And in doing so, when this all started, we were possibly going to get North Carolina an additional congressional seat. We don't know that now, but it's based on that proportion. And lastly, it's used in planning, both by government forces and by the private sector. That data is information we use to figure out programs and services and the needs of our communities.
Okay, well, it's obviously extremely important. We have a lot at stake, as I mentioned before, and that's an enormous amount of money per person over a 10-year period if we don't get an accurate count. So you've given us some idea of where we're lagging: downtown, East Greensboro, perhaps our apartment communities because of students coming and going. Has that hindered us, having such a high student population?
Yes and no. The schools, actually the colleges and universities were very helpful when the census count was going out. So they've really helped spread the message and encourage their participation. So it's a hit or miss, but more so around the downtown area, those rental communities, and then actually southwest, or census tract southwest of downtown, are also a bit of lagging behind. So we've been in touch with the apartment association, asking them to get their members to promote. We've been doing some work with DGI, Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, to ask them with their members to encourage people to go online, beat the enumerator coming to your door and get that to happen. And so we have hope that we can get very close to that 70%.
Okay, and speaking of the enumerator, will that get us to the 70%? Because they're coming, but only if they contact you, correct?
Right, that's correct. We hope so. I mean, that last census, that did prop up the final count, but you know, people are home, or now they're leery. We have COVID. Who's the stranger? Even though they'll have tons of identification, so it's a big question mark. So the best thing for the people of Greensboro to do to get counted is go online. You can call the census. They will take your information over the phone. It's quick and easy, and it will benefit us for 10 years.
Okay, well, thank you, Sue, for this last-ditch effort. We are going to continue to get that word out for these last few weeks and hope that we can get maybe more than 70%.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for stopping by and educating us about the importance and what the census actually means beyond just the survey, and how we will benefit enormously. And let us know, come back and let us know what we ended up as far as our actual count.
Be glad to, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.